I want to share something with you guys that was posted on my YouTube. And I'm just going to show you the text first, and then we'll talk about it, right? And before I show you guys the actual post, I asked for permission if I can make these videos. Unfortunately, it only shows response here. So she said, she's my mutual on YouTube. So she said that she's fine with it. And so that's out of the way, okay? Because I know some of you like to be petty as fuck sometimes. So this is the entire post, okay? Let's look at it. PSA to all the white parents, dig deep to find any racist bone in your body and eradicate it, because your hate is an assault to your children. It will move you to make decisions that will be to their direct detriment. Decisions that can lead them to the psych ward, the trauma center, or the arms of a rapist. Name any trauma, it can result from your racism. And if that doesn't move you to learn and do better, those precious babies that you are destroying, we're better off aborted. And like I said, I absolutely agree. There is literally nothing to disagree here. I still have a thing or two to say about this. So of course, I absolutely agree to this. I still have a thing or two to say about that. But this is not in a kind of like disagreement or as a personal attack or a criticism towards Serenity. They're my mutual. I love them dearly. So it has nothing to do with them as a person, but with this entire write-up. So first of all, dig deep to find any racist bone in your body and eradicate it. Most of all, do not need to dig deep. Most of all, do not need to dig anyhow, because you can literally scratch the surface and the racism will just be evident. It's all over the place, okay? And that shows you that once you have a conversation with the average white woman that thinks she can be racist because she's riding black dick, she will be like, I can't be racist, my husband's black. I can't be racist, my children are mixed, right? It shows you when they tokenize their black family members, when they are completely in denial about their own whiteness, they are in complete ignorance when it comes to their privileges, they are in complete denial in how our existence, generally speaking, not only in black spaces or in the presence of black people or people of color, indigenous people in general, is and can in so many cases be a trigger point. It can be a microaggression. It can be invasive. It can be offensive. It can literally be such a big trigger to people of color globally. And that is not because we are personally disgusting human beings. I mean, many are, but that's not necessarily a personal attack. That is because whiteness has systemically never stood for anything positive. It has never been in association with anything positive. In opposite of that, whiteness has always stood in association with slavery, colonialism, raping, kidnapping, invasion. And after that ended, the system of neo-colonization is so present and evident even today in so many countries of the world, particularly on the African continent. Because riddle me the fuck this. How come you come and invade my country, you steal, you rape, you literally lighten the population, you make yourself at home on foreign land, you set up rules, regulations, you eradicate cultures, identities, languages, and because that is not enough, you kidnap millions of our siblings, ship them across the ocean like fucking goods, literally making them lose their entire identity, from their language to their tribal belongings, to culture, to beliefs, to religions, to anything that they made them who they were or who they are. And then you think you are giving us independence, you're giving us freedom, but at the same time, that very same freedom is tied to declarations, to contracts, to neo-colonization. I don't even need to do this because it's fucking neo-colonization. Independence is not independence because the African continent is not independent. We are not independent in the slightest. From the north to the south, from the west to the east, we are not independent. There is not a single independent and sovereign and country on the African continent that is in charge of their own resources, in charge of their own economical powers. Nothing like that. And the world is just like, oh, well, you're poor. You should be glad that we gave you shit. Nobody has ever given Africa anything. Nothing. And then you might be wondering, hey, Nicole, but what does all this have to do with me? After all, I have never owned slaves. You know, the typical white women nonsense. I've never owned slaves. I don't have a problem with black people, right? I like black people. I listen to hip hop. First and foremost, fuck you. Okay? Other than that, if you don't understand that a system that was built by white people, for white people, on the back of everybody else, doesn't still benefit us today, because of the way we look. We don't need to participate in shit. You don't need to be a fucking racist. You don't need to run around every Saturday wearing the white hoodie burning fucking crosses. You do not need to be nobody in your life to benefit from what has been happening since 1444. You don't need to be, you only need to be white. And that is not a personal attack. That's systemic facts. There's nothing to debate here. It's facts. And if you don't see it, you're the fucking problem. Okay? So that being said, also, I disagree to the eradicate, because there's no way for a white person to not be racist. Even if you have done all the deconstruction, the decolonization, if you are sensitive, if you are careful, if you are listening, if you're self-reflected, we will still be racist because we are systemically taught to be. We are systemically on the beneficial side of history. We have been, we are, and we will be for a very long time. So you need to move from racism is an opinion that belongs in the right-wing corner to understanding that racism is a system that anybody benefits from once you look like me. Simple. And once you benefit from that system, you are racist by default, passively or actively. Actively, you're just, right? The rest of this, every single word here is nothing but the truth. If you do not find that racism in you, find that whiteness in you that is triggering, that is a problem, and bring it down to a minimum, to an extent that if someone sits you down and like, hey, Nicole, what you just said was racist, the first thing in your mind would be like, I'm sorry. I swear, I promise I will do better. No justification, no explanation. No, I didn't mean to. I don't give two shits why you did it. If I will hurt somebody's feelings, and if I said something that's racially charged, do you really think that person gives a flying fuck what my intention was? And there is one beautiful example I always like to give people because it seems to be the easiest way to understand. If we are outside in summer, right, we're having a drink, everything is cool, everything's fine. All of a sudden you have a bee on your cheek. And I know you're fucking allergic to bees. And if that thing will sting you, you might fucking die. So I'll give you a very hard slap, okay? And in the midst of that, I knock off 2 of your teeth. Right? Then, of course, you'll be rightfully angry. You're bleeding, you're in pain, you lost 2 of your teeth. Nicole, why did you do that? And I will tell you, excuse me, you're allergic to bees. I had a good intention. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? A good intention does not mean that the outcome is going to be a good one. And that's also not debatable. All this means you need to not only understand your whiteness, you need to understand that your children will never be seen as you, and we will never know what it feels like. You can love your children dearly. By the way, that's a fucking bare minimum, okay? You can love them dearly, but you will still never feel it. We will never know what it is like. And exactly because of that, your children, our children, need spaces away from us. They need spaces where their blackness is celebrated and empowered. And we cannot do that without the influence of the black woman. There is nothing, no book you read, no video you watch, no knowledge we can ever have that we can actually empower our black children the way other black people can do that. You can empower your children. Of course, you tell them about the beauty of Africa and the beauty of black skin and the rich history and the beauty of hair and the way you take care of the hair and everything. You can do all this. That's the bare minimum. That's what you're supposed to do. You don't get no cookies for taking care of your kids. But at the end of the day, your children need people that can relate to them, that know how it is if you walk down the road and the way you look is the main target on your back. And we will never have that. So if you're white and you can't do all this, don't fucking reproduce with somebody that's not white. Don't do it. Because you're never going to do justice to those children. And now, before I end this video, of course, I want to address my beautiful mutual. I appreciate you so much for thinking that I have anything to add of value here, but I want to make this point very, very clear. Anything I just said, I learned that from Black women. I didn't magically figure this shit out one morning. I learned this from Black women that put their emotional labor into me over years. And I don't deserve no credit for that. So thank you so much.